For Creamer Media's Engineering News, I'm Anine Vermeulen. Head of Local Business for Aggreko Southern Africa, Martin Foster, joins me in studio to discuss various temperature control solutions. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you, Anine.
What type of cooling solutions does Aggreko Southern Africa offer?
Anine, we have a range of what we call our temperature control solutions available in South Africa. And similar to our prior products, it's packaged chillers, either water or air-cooled, packaged air conditioners, and what I mean by packaged is in highly mobile 20-foot containerized type units that we are able to mobilize on short notice to pretty much anywhere and build either hot air, cold air or cold water requirements for the clients.
All right. Which industries does Aggreko service?
When we launched the product, the TC or temperature control product specifically, back end of 2010 into South Africa, the first client base was in the mining industry. And this particular project was for a gold mining client in Velkom, where they were experiencing problems during the high ambient summer months. And their existing installed capacity wasn't capable of cooling the miners at 2 kilometers below surface. Now, obviously, there are very strict guidelines in terms of how you keep your employees cool and comfortable below the surface. So what we were asked to do was to come on board and augment or supplement their cold air requirements. So we basically brought in and engineered a solution at surface level where we supplied about 3,000 kilowatts hour of cold air, pumped down the mine to about 2 kilometers below the surface. And what that enabled the customer to do was basically to keep the miners cool during the peak summer months and give them enough time to then install their permanent solution, which was an ice plant that was running late on schedule.
What is the demand for temperature control solutions in Southern Africa and Eastern Africa, where you also service?
Well, in Southern Africa, South Africa particularly, obviously we've got some of the deepest mines in the world, or the deepest mine in the world for that matter. And obviously the deeper you go, the higher the ambient, the higher the rock face temperatures, etc. A lot of the mines also are older in nature, so they have several kind of issues in summer months. One can be that their installed capacity is not capable of the higher ambience. Two, it can be that they are having maintenance issues. So with the mining clients specifically in South Africa, there's large potential for us. But we don't only service the mining customers. So we also currently working on a project for petrochemical in South Africa. We've done several event type hires, so where we go in and we cool a tent for a wedding, for example. We've done some of the biggest events ever staged in South Africa and Europe for that matter, one very recently, where we do the cooling and or the heating depending on what is required. And we've also just very recently done what we call dehumidification and comfort cooling for a ship repair hire in Cape Town.
Okay, what does that entail?
Well, basically, as with anything on a shutdown, ships no different, where they dry dock the ship for a period and they carry out either emergency or planned maintenance on the ship. Often they're going into the bulk tanks of a vessel, etc., where they will have to do the shot blasting, sanding, painting of, etc. What we can then do is cool that area down. Which has two effects. One, we dehumidify the air so that when they're painting they can actually turn that vessel around quicker, and two, obviously the staff working in that enclosed environment are working at a much more comfortable level, so from a productivity perspective and a turnaround time it's much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Can you discuss any projects that are in the pipeline for the future?
We as I mentioned earlier, we're looking at some petrochemical hires around the country, some specific where there's quite a lot of engineering involved from Aggreko's perspective to make sure that we can, one, meet the quality, health and safety requirements of the customer, and two, get them the desired outcome. But I can't, without going to specifics, ultimately, in a nutshell, anybody who needs hot or cold air or cold water that can either improve their processes or improve their existing systems or augment, their cooling towers, maintenance, etc., we can help. So there's a lot of potential.
Great, thank you so much. That was Martin Foster, Head of Local Business for Aggreko Southern Africa, speaking about temperature control solutions.